Welcome to the West Point Lake Update. My name's Rocky Millenbine, Park Ranger for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And today we're at Amity Campground for the first day of the Alabama Handicapped Hunt. And with me now I have Daniel Browder, and you're one of the participants this year of the hunt.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And you know, this is the first morning of the hunt.
Yes.
You know, it's a real exciting time. So how's it gone so far for you?
Wonderful, great. We went out this morning, nice weather, a little bit of rain, but not enough to dampen the spirits. And saw two doe. Was able to harvest one of the does.
Great.
So stocking the cooler up, getting ready. You know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we've had a really good time.
Great, and there's several participants this year. I think there's between 14 and 16 or so, and was there a lot of shooting going on this morning?
A lot of shooting. Yeah, there was. I think I've seen 6, 7, 8 deer come in. So there's been quite a few of the disabled hunters have been able to harvest this morning. So
great,
really good.
And that's
really
what
good
it's
hunt.
all about, and as you said, this is an exciting time, and everybody's spirits high so far, and sometimes the rain, it'll kind of, that's not always a bad thing,
Exactly.
and but we're always here for we're here for the hunt, and
Right.
that's what we're here for, right?
Exactly.
And you know what? This is a special event that goes on. There's one in Georgia and Alabama
Right.
every year, and it gives hunters an opportunity to get out here and harvest
Right.
a few deer. I know it's particularly difficult, probably,
Right.
Yourself being handicapped to get out here and hunt.
It can be, especially some of the things are overlooked. It's sometimes. Getting into the woods yourself is hard enough, but then the part you can't control, you can plant a food plot, and you can pretty much draw the deer to an area where you think you can harvest them. But the problem is when you do harvest the deer, they don't sometimes they have to be tracked, and that's when you run into a problem if you're in a wheelchair, because you can't go through the woods, jump dead trees and get to it. So having the hunt here and having the Hunters for Christ to help out and to go out and recover the deer and help with the process and everything, that's really a real big benefit to the disabled
Absolutely.
hunters.
And you've got to get the deer out of the woods,
Exactly.
and it has to be clean and hung up the tree. And you mentioned the Hunters for Christ, and they're a group of most of them are hunters themselves that they volunteer their time to come out here and help you guys at the hunt every year. And really, this thing couldn't happen if it wasn't for them.
Exactly.
And if you had a good experience working with them so far?
Always. I've been hunting here for. I just moved. I did live up here. I moved back. Moved away from here about 3 or 4 years ago. When I was up here, I actually went to church over at the Tabernacle with the Hunters for Christ.
Oh, okay, great.
So yeah, that whole group is just, they have just huge hearts. I mean, they're all about, getting out here and helping, share the love. That's and I've had a great experience where all of them, every one of them will help you any way they can.
Good.
Really good experience working with those guys, and you have to think about how much they're not only coming here to help, they're giving up their time. They could be in the woods hunting
Absolutely.
instead of out here helping.
Absolutely,
So
that's true. That's true. And for you to be able to have a hunt successfully, you need the right equipment to do it. And can you tell us a little bit about what you got here that you use to hunt with?
Yeah, this one is a 2008 conversion. They took the golf carts and lift them up and put big tires on, put a torque kit in where they'll have more power, because the regular golf cart doesn't have a lot of power till they do it. And you camo them out, and electric wheelchairs are good to a certain point, but you got to have something that'll get you in the woods.
Right.
The deer aren't on the highway. They are at times, but to hunt them, you got to get in the highway. Most of the time, we take these, and we don't really have to do a lot of modifications. All we really have to do is put hand controls on them, where we can use our hands and not use our feet. And this one actually doesn't have them yet. I'm using a driving stick because I just got this one last week and I hadn't swapped my hand controls over from my one that blew up onto this one yet. But when we get them, we tend to run them in the ground pretty much.
Well,
but
in the woods isn't usually the easiest riding in the world.
No, it's not.
But like you said, it's completely necessary for you to be to get out in the woods and hunt, because, like you said, there's not usually handicap access in the middle of the woods.
And even on I used to hunt the core land up here when I lived up here, and luckily enough they had the open part where you could actually drive in. If it hadn't been for that, wheelchair users, if you can't walk in land, you can't hunt.
Right.
So these things, like I said, they're vital to getting you back in the woods where you can hunt.
Great.
There's several different types, but most of the carts all of us guys use are just, you take things for everyday use and adapt them to where they fit your
Absolutely.
your needs.
Absolutely. And we've got the whole rest of the weekend to hunt. So you're going to get out in the woods a little bit more?
We're going to go back out this afternoon and try to harvest a few more. It's been real. Deer hadn't been moving too much around south of where I'm from, so got to come here and try to help the crowd and fill our freezer at the same time.
Absolutely.
So
and we're going to let you get back to it. We thank you so much for being on the show, and we want you guys to stay tuned because we've got more guests to come. Welcome back. With us now we have Brian Huckleberry, and Brian is a member of the Hunters for Christ. Brian, welcome to the show.
Right. Thank you.
Well, we're back to the second handicapped hunt of the year, and so far it's turned out pretty well, right?
Yeah, going good. Good turnout. A lot of people.
How many hunters do you have this year?
We've got at this hunt we've got 14.
14.
Right.
Okay, and the earlier hunt was in Georgia. How many hunters did you guys have for it?
We had 16 hunters there, and actually had one or two guys come down just to visit and socialize. They had some medical problems keep them from hunting. So.
Okay. And I know there have been a few deer killed so far.
Right.
How many do you know?
We've got 5 in the camp right now.
Right, and this is just the first morning. You know, it's just coming. The hunters are just kind of now starting to meander back in, and we've still got a weekend full of hunting for the rest of them. Yeah, and Hunters for Christ has been doing this for a while now. Do you know how many years you guys have been doing it?
This is the 10th year. I believe it's the 10th year. I've been involved for about 6 of those years.
Great.
So I'm believing it's the 10th year.
And how did Hunters for Christ get started? What was the the growing process for that?
Well, originally there was one guy that had heard of a need through the Corps. He had some friends that worked with the Corps and heard of a need for somebody to do some volunteer work to this type of thing, and he just kind of got a few of his friends and come out and helped out where he could, and from there within a year or two it had just grown into a group based within the church, and just went from there.
So it really started off. It's not just you're doing your duty as a member of the church, your church outreach, but at the same time, it's an enjoyable thing to do.
Oh yeah, I mean we enjoy coming out every year. It's like a family reunion almost. You come out and you see all the guys again, talk about what's been going on through the year. You get sit around the campfire, eat some good food. It's a good time.
Yeah, really, there's a great camaraderie that goes all throughout the camp, and it's with both hunts, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Hunters for Christ, you try to make it as, I guess, you guys are here for every step that the hunters might need, right? So what are some of those things that you're going to be doing throughout the weekend to help them out?
Well, we come in on Friday, we get the camp set up, get all the tents set up, help the hunters when they come in. If they're going to be camping here, we get them, help them get their campsite set up or whatever they need. We bring in all the food, we provide all the meals. Like I said, the campfire, we keep it going, keep them warm, and provide all the deer processing services.
Yeah.
When they bring the deer in, we take care of all that for them. Just pretty much every need that they have at the camp.
Yeah, and the hunters here, they all have some sort of disability, and I think maybe some people might think, oh, they're just pulling a trigger, anybody can do that, but that's not true. There are a lot of things that go along with hunting that a disability can be a great hindrance.
Right. I mean, for the most part, you're just kind of just pulling a trigger, but getting to your stand and getting set up, and when you're disabled, we don't think about it, but mobility is a big key for hunters, because if you sit in this chair, the deer's not going to come out straight in front of you every time. We can move ourselves in position fairly easy, but these guys don't have that ability all the time. So it is a challenge for them.
Yeah, and really after the deer is harvested, there's things that are pretty tough even for anybody,
Right.
like dragging a deer out of the woods, hanging it up in a tree and cleaning it. I mean, and you guys do everything.
Right. That's the other things that they're not able to do. I mean, you get a deer laying on the ground, it's pretty tough to get it up on an ATV or whatever, and of course hanging it in a tree, that's just almost out of the question.
Yeah.
So we handle all that because it's just things that they're not able to do.
Sure. And I know you've been preparing for this for probably the last week or so, haven't you?
Oh, it goes further back.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 2 hunts within a month's time. Preparations start in probably August with fundraisers and coordinating any kind of donations or any outside help that we need. So it starts around August. We'll start kicking off things like that because the first hunt is December, the first weekend of December. So we have to have time to prepare for that.
Yeah, and that's important. And one thing too, when we're out here, you guys have got quite a few volunteers out here, and it's not just your men that are out hunting all the time anyway. I see several kids out here that are helping out. You've got several women out here helping out. You got a good crowd.
Right. It's kind of like a family affair. I mean, we bring our families out. The women, they can help out cooking and serving and different things. The kids, of course, they just play and have a good old time. And but like I said before, it's almost like a family reunion.
Right.
You get to know these guys, and then over time, it's like you can't wait to see them again.
Yeah, sure. And especially the kids out here, it really teaches them, I would say, a good lesson of how important it is to volunteer, to do things like this, and,
Right.
and really help others.
Right, it does. It gives them a sense of, community and being a good citizen, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, and in the Christian message
Right.
also that you guys are putting out here, and behind us right now, you guys are fixing lunch for all the hunters as they
Right.
come in. What's the meal plan for today?
Well, today, of course, we had breakfast this morning. I think the chef up there is doing a little vegetable soup for lunch, and I'm not sure about this evening, but it's usually something pretty good.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things that everybody looks forward to is the meals are. It's always fun to eat beside the camp, out in the campground
Right.
and eat on the open fire, but the food's pretty good too.
Yeah.
This isn't just hot dogs over the fire.
No, we usually try to have a good meal. I mean, hamburgers and hot dogs are great, but we like to usually have a pretty good meal for the guys, just to give them a good hot meal.
Yeah. And we're at the deer camp right now. I know you guys. There's a lot of things set up, and I know you set everything up. I know you brought in the firewood. And,
Yes, sir.
And is there any way that, say, people that are watching the show that maybe they can help, whether whether providing food or there's money or something like that?
Yeah, I mean we receive donations and help from the community, in all aspects. I mean, we've had some of the food that has been donated, some drinks, things like that. The firewood was actually provided by, a community member. It's everything. We usually try to just kind of go out in the community, and like I said, we do the fundraisers and different things like that. But yeah, I mean, we can always use all the help we can get. So,
and how can they get a hold of you? Do you guys usually?
We
how do you
have
do your fundraisers?
the church has a website.
Okay.
Baptist Tabernacle has a website. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now, but the exact address. But you can search it online.
Sure,
You can
yeah,
find it,
yeah.
and
We're
we
fine.
have a link.
We're fine with telling them to just check the search engine
Right.
for
We
Baptist
have-
Tabernacle.
Hunters for Christ has a link
Okay.
on that website, and we can be contacted through that link.
And I know you said before that, you know, you're a member of Baptist Tabernacle and you guys started everything off, but it's really expanded to other churches.
Right. We have members here from Faith, Mountville Baptist Church helps out. There's, you know, a variety of different church people that, I mean, we have guys that help that aren't even affiliated with the church,
Okay.
you know, and that's kind of what our outreach is.
Yeah.
Is to, you know, go to the people that aren't, you know, attending a church or aren't in church anywhere. That's what we look for. I mean, that's our mission.
Absolutely. And you guys do a great job with it, and,
Right.
and we commend you, and we thank you very much. And I thank you for being on the show, Brian.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming out and doing this. You know, just gives us a little more exposure.
Yeah, well, and we're looking forward to a great weekend of hunting.
Well, thank you.
All right, and stay tuned because we've got more coming. Welcome back. With us now we have Derek Wilkerson, my fellow park ranger here for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at West Point Lake. And Derek, you're almost our regular now. You've been doing the show quite a bit, but you know, you're in charge of the hunting program here at the lake, and that's something that gets a lot of attention, especially for me. I love to hunt, and I know our viewers love it as well. But you know, we're here at the handicapped hunt here in the state of Alabama actually this time, and it's the first morning. The hunters are just coming in. How's it gone so far?
Well, everything's going great. Main thing, nobody has been injured, or there's no one that's been shot. So that's pretty much the main focus here. You know, besides harvesting does out of the campground here at Amity Park.
Yeah, safety's always important.
Oh yeah, definitely. Safety is the utmost here at the hunt. You know, and pretty much is, you know, within anything that we do here on the West Point project. So, you know, we're glad to have the hunters here. So far, we have a total of, I believe, 13 or 14 hunters.
Okay.
Some of them are from the state of Alabama, which, you know, this hunt is pretty much geared towards the Alabama hunters. We do have some hunters that we've invited from the Georgia hunt as well that we had back in December. So it's pretty much just a fellowship type thing that's going on here, and each person that comes, you know, they'll kind of keep in touch with each other and kind of pass the word along to see who's going to the hunts that's coming up and who's not. So it's been a good event so far.
Yeah, we're here in Amity Campground,
Right.
which is one of, you know, the 4 main campgrounds here at the lake, and hunting's not usually allowed here.
Right.
You know, so that kind of brings up the opportunity that, well, deer are overpopulated here in here. They just absolutely, there are many deer here in the campground, and this isn't just great for the handicapped hunters to get an opportunity, but also for deer management.
Right,
as well.
that's correct. As Rocky mentioned, the campground here is well overpopulated with deer. Our main focus is to harvest does, and you know, there are times where some of the bucks are harvested as well, but our main focus is to thin the doe population out here and leave mostly the main bucks, you know, to help reproduce. But like I say, you know, the park is well overpopulated with does here.
Yeah, and you know, an overpopulation of doe or of deer in general can be bad. I mean, we're talking about car accidents.
Correct.
and you know, they can eat all the foliage away, and we're in a campground. Foliage is nice.
Right.
And,
That's correct. You know, with it being a campground or, you know, a public area for individuals who come and camp, you know, these deer, they'll kind of get lax, so to speak, with the public coming in. You know, they're not used to hearing the bang from the gunshots. So, you know, they kind of get laxed and kind of go through the same routine. Whereas we didn't have the hunt here last year in Amity Campground due to renovations. So, you know, they're more, I guess, jittery, so to speak, this year, trying to figure out what's going on, seeing all the vehicles in and out. So
you know, we started to see them move at first, but you know, when everyone started coming in, I guess they kind of started bedding down, you know, wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
But you know, that's part of it. That's part of the sport.
Yeah, and it's not just the sport. You know, if the deer population goes up, then then you have to worry about disease in the population and such as
overgrazing of the areas as well. That'd be one of the main focus. Which of course, if we have diseases come in, then we won't have any deer to harvest.
Right.
So we kind of try and move it from one park to another one, just to kind of keep that population to a minimum.
Yeah,
so.
and you mentioned earlier, this is in fact the second handicapped hunt of the year.
Correct.
We had one last month in the state of Georgia, correct?
Right. Yes, sir. We had that hunt the first weekend in December, which was actually at Holiday Campground in Georgia. So we having this one this weekend, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up to noon. The reason being is that within both states of Georgia and Alabama, there's not enough areas that these disabled guys can have the ability to access the hunting areas. So, we, along with Hunters for Christ, we want to thank Hunters for Christ for volunteering to come out and prepare meals and donate different items such as clothing, gear, and things like that. That's been donated to them to give to these hunters. So that's the main thing that we're here to do, to just give them the ability to go out and hunt just as a normal person with all the limbs would have.
Yeah, and really this couldn't happen without the Hunters for Christ group. They do so much here at the camp.
Excellent job.
And the fact that they're willing to volunteer and do it, it really speaks highly for them.
Right. They enjoy just a good fellowship just as well as I do. It's always a good time, and we all learn a lot from one another. But just seeing how these guys in the wheelchairs get around and maneuver, they don't think twice about their disability. Which like I say, if you don't get motivated from seeing these guys and just conversating with them, then hey, I just can't explain how good it is.
Yeah, and you get to spend to really spend a lot of time with these guys, and the time that I've been able to spend with them, they've really been they're an uplifting group of people. And, and what they're able to do is just it really if it makes you smile. It just makes you smile.
Definitely. We look forward to it every year. So it's always a good time.
Yeah, and we're here in a campground, and you would think, how are you going to hunt in a campground? But really, it comes out being to a real advantage, correct, with the hunters, that have a disability.
Right. Majority of them have the electric chairs. A lot of them have ATVs. Some of them have golf carts. But majority of these guys that actually have ATVs and golf carts, they actually maneuver these carts, by themselves. They don't take them to a local shop to get them worked on or prepared. They do all the work and all the fixtures, all the hookups, all the hydraulic hoses. They take the time and rig it up the way that they like. So, that's one of the things that kind of puts a smile on my face, just to see how they can maneuver around. And
and there's some, they've really thought this through, whether it's a scissor lift on the back of their four-wheeler to get them up high, or because their maneuverability isn't as good as it could be, and so they have to take some steps to make their hunting experience more doable, I guess.
Right. They don't let anything come into play as far as putting a negative effect in their mind or in their hearts. They may tend to rag one another here at the hunt, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's really the camaraderie that is really a great thing when you're here. And Derek, you do a lot of work to make this thing happen. What is some of the steps that you have to go through to really make this happen every year?
Well, like I said, from the previous hunts, we'll kind of keep a running list of the participants that come out, and we try and focus on the hunters from that particular state first. we'll call them and kind of invite them out. And, you know, of course, you know, things, you know, tend to come up, you know, during the time that they do agree to come. But, you know, once we complete the renting list of the Alabama folks for this particular Alabama hunt, then we'll go to our call list from the Georgia hunt. And once we get the maximum number that we're allowed to hold for the particular stands here that we have, then we'll kind of go from there. Of course, you know, we hate to say it, but we do have a cutoff point where we can only allow so many hunters to come in. You know, I kind of wish that we could bring all the hunters in from both Alabama and Georgia at one time. But,
it goes back to safety,
impossible.
like you were saying earlier.
Exactly.
And but Derek, you do a wonderful job, and
it.
everything is going great so far. And we've got the rest of the weekend, and I know everybody's really looking forward to it. And we not only thank you for putting this on every year, but we thank you for being on the show today.
I enjoy it, Rocky. Thank you.
Great. So stay tuned because we've got more coming. Derek, I want to thank you again for being on the show. You do so much here at the Handicapped Hunt and for the West Point Lake Hunting Program. And we also want to thank our viewers for being with us today. We've been here at the West Point Lake Handicapped Hunt, and it's been a great experience for us all, and we hope that you have enjoyed it as well. I also want to remind you of a few things. The camping is going to be closed for the next month, but we are going to be opening up again in late February, so hopefully you'll be able to come out here and camp real soon. And of course, always remember, when you're on West Point Lake, always wear your life jacket. Until next time.